you're never going to get a shortage of wrestling in this day and age.
Absolutely. So, you started out at PWA, and, that's a pretty famous gym, man. There's like Madison Eagles, Robbie Eagles, Ryan Eagles. Tell us about the first day you went into the PWA gym, and how was that experience for you?
Well, my first day wasn't actually my first day of training. My first day at PWA was a couple of years earlier when I want to say 13, 14.
Yeah, wow.
And when I first found the academy, I straight away was like, yep, that's it. We're doing it. My mum was the smart one who said, no, let's go watch a show first. Make sure it's not just some teenagers in their backyard or something. Like, it's actually something worthwhile. So we went to a show at the Casula Powerhouse back in 2015. And it was just a stacked card. Robbie Eagles, Shaz McKenzie, all the Four Nations, Instagram, Big Fudge, all the, these stars. So we watched that show, and my mum was blown away. I really enjoyed it, and we went to the next training session the following Saturday. Just rocked up to the training school unannounced, little 14-year-old me and my mum. Knocked on the door and just sort of like, hi guys, and Robbie came out and just sort of had a chat to us and asked what was going on. Said, oh, can I train? Yeah, you're a bit young, mate. I think you're gonna have to wait a couple of years. The most devastating day of my life, I'll tell you. I was so hyped up to start wrestling, and I had to wait another 2 years. Oh, I was heartbroken.
But in that 2 years, was there anything that, Robbie said to you, hey, look, go and do this kind of sport, go and do like a martial arts, or go do like judo, so you at least learn how to take like to land? I know judo and pro wrestling is a bit on the fast go.
Yeah, look, he didn't necessarily recommend anything to me, just sort of get fit. But I took it upon myself, because I really just sort of, I knowing I had 2 years to sort of prepare, I looked into so much of what wrestling was and what I needed to do. So I just sort of kept up with some. I was always a sporty kid anyway. I played some sports when I was younger, so I was pretty fit anyway. But yeah, just sort of I watched a couple of those dodgy like how to wrestle videos on YouTube and thought I knew what I was doing. So I'd rock up to the first day of class and think that I was, already Robbie Eagles level.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I suppose, you've been doing this for a couple of years now, and you'd probably see like new guys coming in and going, oh yeah, fuck this wrestling thing. I watch it all the time. I can go in there and train for a week and I'm off to WWE. But what was your mentality? Yeah, exactly, man. Maybe if you're Braun Strowman or someone like that.
Yeah.
But what was it like for you, obviously going in there and first taking those bumps? Was it like, holy shit, I'm over my head? Or was it more like, oh no, this is pretty much what I expected and I love this shit right now and have to do it?
Yeah, look, the fitness on like the first tryout was pretty bad. Like I threw up twice during my tryout. But by that point I was already so invested in it, and I had like told everyone at school that that's what I was doing. So it's kind of like I was too far in to back out. But I kind of expected it, because I you read all the stories and you do your research. I knew that I was getting into a bit of pain and a lot of, brutal fitness and whatnot. So for all the fitness stuff, it was okay. I got through that. And then my first bump, I'm not going to lie, I didn't mind it. I remember doing it and turning to, it was Caveman Ugg and Brian the Heat Seeker. They were my coaches in the core class. And I took the bump and not even reacting to the pain or anything. I just turned to them and I was like, was that right? I didn't care about the pain. I was just like, did I do it right? But they asked me, like, how do you feel? And I said, I feel all right. And they said, well, you must have done it right then. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think the bumps never got to me as much. Maybe it's just me being a bit younger and having that resilience over some of the older guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a definite thing. And one thing, I get to speak to wrestlers, from all around the world. And one thing that they say is you got to love it. If you don't love it, you're not going to be in it long term, and you're not going to really get through the training. And a lot of guys have said, we see people just come in, think they can do it, but if they don't absolutely love it, your heart's not in 100%, you're not going to last.
It's a lifestyle. You get in it and you're either in or you're out, because there's that much shows going on. There's that much training. If you don't keep up, you're gonna fall off behind, and it's a shame. But it's kind of what happens, because there's so many people chomping to get the spot that if you're not trying to keep up with being at every show and helping out and training as much as everyone else, you're going to fall behind, you're going to lose your spot, and then that's what causes people to sort of lose their passion because they think, oh, I should be at this place, but maybe they're not putting in as much effort as the next guy, and then they don't get that spot, and they think, oh, it's not for me anymore. So it's a shame, but you really, like you said, you really just have to be all in to keep up with it.
Oh, absolutely. And how long were you training before you actually got to get in there and have your first match?
About a year and a half until I had my first match. Yeah.
Yeah. And who was your first match against?
Against the Velocities.
Yeah. Did you did you win, or did you
No, we did not get the win, unfortunately. They kicked our asses.
Oh, it's you can't win everyone, mate. First,
well, yeah, especially
first
not your first. Yeah, we put in a decent showing for our first match, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and was that with PWA?
No, that was with Rock and Roll Wrestling down at Wollongong. Just at one of their sort of little. Yeah, we didn't have a PWA match until Coliseum 2018, the first one. We were in that Battle Royal, and we got dragged out by security about a minute in. So
you got dragged out of the match by security. What?
Yeah, we didn't have IDs, and we had our school uniforms on. So they put two and two together, and they called us out.
I love it.
In hindsight, maybe we shouldn't have worn the school uniforms, and they probably wouldn't have dragged us out.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Maybe you worn some rugby the school rugby jersey instead. So
yeah, yeah.
But, how did you come up with obviously the character and the character development of Jimmy Townsend? Was that something that your trainers helped you with, or was that pretty much they said, no, we'll teach you how to bump, we'll teach you how to do the moves, you're on your own for the rest?
No, they definitely help out with everyone. Especially Mick Moretti's the big one who is sort of the main coach for our promo classes and helps with character development, which, is obvious because of how good he is with all that stuff. In terms of myself, it was kind of like, obviously the school stuff isn't a character at all, but I didn't really want to go with that as my wrestling persona so much until we had a training seminar and we had to sort of come up with just sort of a throwaway character. And me and Billy, obviously having been school friends already, we were just mucking around with the idea of being like this snobby, over-the-top school kid. And it was just for that one night, and we threw it away. And then over the weeks, we kept talking to each other, thinking like, "Oh, this would be a funny idea for that school idea. Oh, this would be funny as well." And then we went back and forth until we tried it out at one of our regular promo classes, and everyone at training really enjoyed it. And we went, we may as well just be who we are. Like we are those actual school kids that just want to have a bit of fun and play pranks on people. So we may as well just do that in the ring. Nobody else is doing it, so.
I actually saw a like an old promo or vignette where you was trying to sneak backstage to a show, and then like you bump into another wrestler. He's like, "Mate, you guys can't fucking be here. Like, fuck off. It's over 18s." That
was Fridays are for the Babes, and we tried to sneak into to that show, and we drunk from Matty Wahlberg's Red Cup, and he didn't like that too much. So I got taped to the ring post, and Billy passed out in the kiddie pool on the stage. Again, we got dragged out by security as well. That was 2 in a row.
Oh my god, that was like, honestly, I saw that clip and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like that was amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry to swear. I do know that being in school,
my ears are hurting a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, let it slide. It's the shit uncensored, man. This is what you got to expect here.
It's the adult world. I'm 18 now, so.
That's it. There you go. You're fighting in the big boy world now. So, but as far as like Aussie pro wrestling goes, how is it? Do you find it difficult to get booked in other promotions? Because I know years ago it's like if you didn't train under that promotion, then they're not going to book you. Has that changed much over the years, or is it sort of having to really go and break down more barriers and pay dues at each promotion that you go to in Australia? Like go set up the ring and be security and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to interstate stuff, that more comes with just getting a bigger name value for yourself. But within the state, yeah, it's very much the old tradition of go to the show, introduce yourself to the promoter, help out with whatever you can help out with, and eventually, you'll get thrown a bone. So, Newey Pro, FWA, Rock and Roll, those types of places. It's all, just obviously early on I made friends with some of the more experienced guys, and they sort of would guide me along and say, hey, come along to this show. It's this weekend. Maybe you can sort of shake hands and see what's there for you. And sometimes you just get thrown on because they need an extra person. So you always have your gear there with you, and that's how you get your opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, the famous saying is always take your gear to every show. So
For sure.
but what's been some of the favorite promotions that you've worked for around New South Wales?
PWA, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying. Newey Pro is a big one because they're very much our sort of sister company in a lot of ways. So they're the two main ones where everyone sort of like, well, at least for me, is the main sort of the passion and the goal. Because funnily enough, even when I first sort of came in, Newey was really the bigger of the two companies, because PWA just was about to hit that sort of renewal of the passion when Osprey came in and all that. It was just before then. So Newey was actually the big goal for everyone around that 2017 mark. And I'm lucky enough to have done that a few times. I got to wrestle Billy actually at their Rumble last year, which was my favorite match. We had a schoolyard brawl, and the winner